Hi guys, Paul Buchanan Jones with a quick tip for you on Mistika Boutique. This is really to do with getting your footage onto the timeline. This is the timeline. You can, and a normal way of doing this might be to just grab a folder and drop it onto the timeline. As you can see, that brings in your clips, which is fine if you're doing standard video work, but for 360 this doesn't work. You need all the clips stacked vertically into a stack in order to be able to stitch them. You can certainly move them like this, but it's a bit of a pain if you've got a jaunt, Panono, or multiple shots that you want to drop in. A more efficient way to do this is to go to the node graph, grab a folder and drop it in. The problem with this can be that if you're working instead of with a folder, individual clips. So this folder contains 6 clips. They're all from an Insta360 Pro. I've converted them to ProRes so that they play better on the timeline. But let me show you what I mean. If I put the node graph away, select all of my clips and hit bring in a camera preset. So I'm going to grab a camera preset for the Insta360 Pro version 1. This is a stereo stitch one. Drop that in. If I select my clip node, you can see that the stitch node is too short. So I'm just going to do get duration, set duration. If I double click this, we can see on this side that where I scrub through, camera 1 front and center, and the real world camera, the forward facing camera in the rig, is aligned with camera 1. So that's fine, that's good, that's exactly what we want. The reason for this being that if we needed to do any stabilization and needed to use prioritize front or follow over or heading, this is exactly how we would want it set up. So what I want to show you is if I come back to the node graph, I'm just going to move these over a bit, and although the clips may well drop in underneath. If I now go back to where I was, so my home folder into here, and I go in and grab the clips themselves, loose clips, because I might have a folder that's got multiple shots in. So, ProRes 6, ProRes 4, and so on and so on. If I grab these and drop these in, we'll do graph reload. We can see, I'll just pop those away. So I want to grab these 6 clips here. We can see that on the first instance, where we dropped in the entire folder, that the clips with the audio tracks in them are at the top, whereas on this one they're at the bottom. If I now clone this stitch node using Alt and left mouse click and drag, and I open this one up, we can see now that the forward-facing camera in the physical world is not aligned with the forward-facing camera of the virtual cameras here. So if I switch between these using Control and the arrow keys, so that's the first clip where the forward-facing camera is facing front over camera 1. This one, it's over the side. So if we did any stabilization on this, it's not going to come out right. Or at least there's a risk that it may not come out right. So what you need to be aware of is when you're dragging in clips, if I just bring up my media folder, the reason that this has happened is because tracks is selected here. So all you need to do is to click on name and ensure that the clips are listed vertically numerically. Yeah, so 0 through 5 that way. If I now drag in these clips, we'll pop the node graph away, select those and stack them up here next to the others. We can see that these now are the same as the first one where we dragged the entire folder in. And we'll confirm that by Alt left clicking. I'll just double click this one. And again, so if we step through these using Control and arrow keys to step through the shots on the storyboard, that was the ones where I've clicked. This shot is the one where I've clicked name in the tabs at the top of the media window. This is where it was under tracks, and we can see that the forward-facing camera is off the side of the vehicle, and that's the original one where we've dragged in the entire directory. So that's it really. It's just something to be aware of. when you're dragging clips in from your media window, make sure that if you're dragging in individual clips that you've clicked name. Also make sure that you haven't clicked it twice. So you want to make sure that, here they're upside down. Just make sure that they're that way up when you drag them in. That's it, guys. Thanks a lot for watching. Catch you later. Bye now.